Sometimes a Pokemon needs more than just a Mega Evolution to become viable. In the Emerald ROM hack Elite Redux, lots of old Pokemon were given new evolutions to improve their viability. The main benefits of having a new evolution versus a new Mega Evolution is the ability to hold whatever item they want and being able to have more than one per team. So in this video, I wanted to go over 3 of the new evolutions introduced in Elite Redux. Heliolisk is one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 6, but using it was always underwhelming. It was given some buffs in this game, like an increase to special attack, raising it to 119, but it's still really fragile with only 52 in defense. 109 speed isn't going to get the job done most of the time. Well, every Pokemon gets 4 abilities at the same time, 3 choice abilities and 3 innates. And one of its choice abilities is Sand Rush, so on the right team, it can be a decent little attacker. Sand still does chip damage to it though, so it can't run a Focus Sash. Having Lightning Rod as an innate is also pretty helpful in double battles, as it will redirect all electric moves to itself and get a special attack boost. Overall, it's fine, but definitely needed an upgrade. The new evolution, Helimoto, is absolutely an upgrade. Firstly, it gets an amazing new typing of Electric Fire, as the normal type was dropped. This type combination is so good with 8 resistances and just 2 weaknesses, but be very careful around ground types. Also, an immunity to water, but we'll get into why later. Helimoto's stats are just pumped up from before, now having 134 in special attack, which is certainly impressive. Pair that with 120 in speed, which will be good against a sizable part of the game, and you have yourself a really good special attacker. Defenses are still low, so consider using a Focus Sash to keep it alive. Since it's now a fire type, its choice ability Drought is a great option to run. The Sun will boost up the power of its stab fire moves even more, so it's really difficult to live a Fire Blast from it. But Drought actually synergizes well with the innate ability Solar Power, giving it another 50% increase to special attack when in the sun. So its power is actually much better than the stats show. I said you gotta keep it away from ground types, but with Solar Beam and no charge up turn, they might be the ones that should stay away. Sun does have one negative side effect though, as it will lose health each turn because of dry skin. Don't use a Focus Sash while running Drought. A Choice Specs or a Scarf is better, or even a White Herb so you can run Overheat. Dry Skin does give it the immunity to water though, so this is a great Pokemon for Wallace and Juan's gym. The last innate ability, Shining Lightning, gives all of its moves a 20% accuracy boost, so you won't have to worry about missing Fire Blast. You also don't have to worry about hitting Thunder in the sun, as this ability ensures it never misses. The coverage and the power of this Pokemon's moves are insane. Generator can be run instead of Drought if you really want power from its electric moves. Generator charges it up on entry, doubling the power of its next electric move. A 220 base power Thunder is gonna mess up a ton of Pokemon, believe me. Helimoto also gets Shockwave, which has +2 priority, so if Pokemon is too fast for it, this can be a really strong option to stop them. Helimoto is the perfect example of an evolution upgrading an underwhelming Pokemon with a 3rd stage. It's one of the stronger electric types you can get, and you definitely need to be careful when facing one. Dhelmise is a Pokemon I always dread having to fight because it's such a wall. The Grass Ghost type normally has a lot of weaknesses, but with Metallic as an innate ability, which adds the Steel type to a Pokemon, Dhelmise is actually a Ghost, Grass, Steel type in this game, reducing its super effective weaknesses and giving it a bunch of new resistances and immunities. It's also just tankier than in the base games, with its defense now sitting at 120 instead of 100. 131 in attack is nothing to sneeze at either and can deal real damage. If you give it Water Absorb as a choice ability, it can get another immunity, although it won't be seeing a lot of water attacks anyway. While it's still weak to fire types, the innate ability Seaweed actually reduces the power of fire type moves against it by 50%. Not only that, but grass moves do double damage to fire types now, so it can hold its own against them if it needs to. Since it has a new evolution, Eviolite can be run for even more bulk if you need it, but eventually you'll want to upgrade. Dreadnought is the new 2nd stage evolution to Dhelmise. It keeps the exact same typing of Grass, Ghost, Steel, as it also keeps Metallic as an innate ability. However, it's much bulkier defensively, now sporting 140 in defense and 103 in special defense, on top of 30 being added to HP, bringing it to 100. Its attack power remains the same, but it actually gets slower as its speed drops to 30, makes it better in Trick Room. Even though its attack stat remains the same, it still actually hits harder with its Juggernaut choice ability. Juggernaut takes 20% of its defense stat and adds it to its attack on contact moves. Moves like Shadow Claw and Anchor Shot will be hitting a lot harder than with Dhelmise. Iron Defense will not just double its defense, but makes its attacks even better. With Synthesis, it has solid recovery as well, so it can be difficult for physical attackers to get through. It still doesn't have to worry about fire types, as it gets an upgraded version of Seaweed as an innate. Old Mariner is Seaweed, but gives Dreadnought Stab on water moves, letting it run moves like Triple Dive and Aqua Bash more effectively. If you want more power for its stab steel moves, it also gets Steelworker as a choice ability, boosting their power by 30%. Hard Press is a really good one as it suppresses opponent's ability if they moved already. In a game where abilities are everything, this is really strong. Pokemon with Mold Breaker or Prism Armor will definitely feel this. With the final choice ability it can run, you'll want it to move last anyway, as Stall will reduce all damage done to it by 30%. It makes all the difference and just makes it that much harder to bring down. Dreadnought can just keep answering back with Stab, Power Whip, and Poltergeist. If it manages to get the knockout on a Pokemon, the innate ability Soul Eater will give it back a quarter of its HP back, so it doesn't mind taking hits. With Stab on 4 different types, you can just throw on an Assault Vest, the ability Stall, and have an absolute tank that dishes out powerful attacks. Definitely a Pokemon worth trying out. Aromatisse is not just ugly, it's bad. They really didn't do much to change it in these games. The stats are basically the same. The only difference is a slight bump to special defense, bringing it to 100, and a slight increase to defense. It's still not something you're using outside of Trick Room. Its abilities aren't that special either. Healer is an okay innate ability as it can heal up a Pokemon randomly in doubles. And the choice ability Fairy Aura can help out its Fairy type teammates by increasing the damage of their Fairy type moves. So other than being a support Pokemon in doubles, Aromatisse doesn't really need to be on your team. However, it does get a new evolution that does bring it some relevance. The new evolution Flaregrants, while still ugly, can actually be useful to have on a team. One of the biggest changes being the addition to the Poison type on top of Fairy. While it gains a Psychic weakness, it gains 2 more resistances. Also, having Stab Poison moves makes it great for taking out other Fairies. The stats have been upgraded, but mostly in one area, Bulk. Its HP stat now sits at 121 and its defense at 89, and special defense at 140. 140 is the 3rd highest special defense stat of any Poison type in the game. It's an amazing special wall and has moves and abilities that can make it even better. Lingering Aroma works like the ability Mummy, where making contact with Flaregrants causes the attacker to have their choice ability replaced with Lingering Aroma. With its defense being the bigger vulnerability, this is a nice ability that can punish physical attackers. Flaregrants has access to Fake Out, which is a Fairy type move because of Pixelate, but unfortunately it can't be used to spread Lingering Aroma around. It also has the exclusive innate ability Fragrant Daze, which adds a 30% chance to confuse a Pokemon on contact, both offensively and defensively. Draining Kiss is a great special attack that has contact, so it can use that. With its great special bulk, switching into a special attack is safe most of the time, and with the innate ability Soothing Aroma, healing up the party's status conditions, you'll want to do this often. Having access to Quiver Dance not only bulks it up even more against special attackers, but can actually make it a great attacker itself. Now with only 29 in speed, there's really no chance it becomes a sweeper, but with the strong stab moves and good recovery from Draining Kiss, you have a reliable answer to special attackers. It can also be a difficult Pokemon to get rid of and is very useful in double battles as well. It's a Pokemon I would have no problem putting on one of my teams. There aren't a ton of new evolutions in Elite Redux yet, but the few that have been added are really solid and bring new life into old Pokemon. Which Pokemon do you think deserves a new evolution in the next update? Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.